Welcome to the lecture series of Mobile Computing and Wireless Communication. I am an instructor, Miss Alpa Rupala. So today we are going to learn about multiple access. So topics to be covered today. First of all, we will learn multiple access. Then after SDMA, that is Space Division Multiple Access. Then after FDMA, that is Frequency Division Multiple Access. Then after TDMA, that is Time Division Multiple Access. So ultimately in previous lecture we had discussed about multiplexing. So what is the basic difference between multiplexing and multiple access? So both are having the same fundamental because even in multiplexing, what we are doing, we are sending on a single channel multiple data by combining them. Okay, and whereas in multiple access also, we are sending multiple users data on a single channel. So ultimately, we are using the multiplexing concept in multiple access. So ultimately, we can say that multiplexing is a technique, whereas multiple access is a mechanism. So to fulfill the multiple access mechanism, we are using multiplexing technique. So ultimately, we are sending multiple users data by a single channel without interference. That is nothing but what? Multiple access. So this multiple access we can use in applications such like satellite communication and wireless mobile communication. So we can have different type of multiple access, same like different type of multiplexing. So first of all, FDMA, that is frequency division multiple access, TDMA, time division multiple access, SDMA, that is space division multiple access, and CDMA, that is code division multiple access. So ultimately, starting with our first topic, that is SDMA. So same like in your SDM, that is space division multiplexing, what we had assumed that we are giving 24/7 available frequency band range for a specific code to a specific user. Okay, so same as we can do fundamental in SDMA also, we are giving a separate antenna with a separate time slot or 24/7 time slot with a separate frequency range with a separate code to one user. That is nothing but what? SDMA. So basically SDMA is the same method, likewise your SDM, but SDMA is a mechanism whereas the SDM is a technique. So we can use sector-edge antenna for the SDMA. Likewise, suppose we are using 3-sector antenna. So according to it, we can give one user one direction, second user second direction, and third user third direction. So ultimately, by one antenna, we can make it utilized for the 3 user if we are sectoring that antenna. So this is a mechanism of SDMA. We can see that we are using SDM. Suppose to find out the capacity of SDMA, we can have the formula that CSDMA is equals to NSDMA into C, where the CSDMA is the capacity of SDMA system, NSDMA is the average number of simultaneous spatial channel per RF, and C is a capacity of a channel. So ultimately, we can multiply the capacity of a channel by n number of SDMA user and we can have the capacity of your SDMA system altogether. Okay, so this is the concept of SDMA. Likewise, if suppose we are giving an example of it, so we can say that a separate highway, if we are talking an example of highway, then a separate highway for a single user. Next topic is FDMA. So ultimately FDMA is also inbuiltly using frequency division multiplexing, that is FDM. So we can see in diagram, right, FDM, in which we are dividing our available frequency range into different frequencies. So if we can say that what is the advantage of having this FDMA, we can not we can use available frequency range 24/7. Okay, the complexity of this kind of FDMA system is very lesser. If we talk about the duplexing, that means if we talk about the uh, uplink and downlink concept. Now, what is the uplink and downlink concept? Whenever we are sending the data, that will be the uplink. When we are receiving the data, that will be downlink. Okay, this concept we will learn in detail in the GSM topic. So ultimately, suppose one user is sending data. So at that time, that is what uplink. And suppose one user is receiving the data. So at that time, it is what downlink. So ultimately, in FDMA, we can have separate channel for uplink and downlink. So simultaneously we can utilize or we can upload and download. Okay, so simultaneously we can use uploading and downloading because we are having separate frequency for uplink and downlink, and this is known as frequency division duplex. Okay, this is known as frequency division duplex, and this both the direction uplink and downlink will also have the interference guard space in it, so no communication can interfere with each other, and we can simultaneously utilize the uplink and downlink. Now the next is advantage of FDMA. All the stations are continuously working 24/7 without having any error. Okay, no synchronization is needed because 24/7 availability. Next, there is the complexity of this kind of system is very much lower because of there is no synchronization. But what is the disadvantage of this system? Ultimately, the intermodulation frequencies must cannot be used by adjacent channel because interference is there. So we must need to use a separate guard space, and this will even misleading your not efficiently utilizing of your available bandwidth. Okay, as a result, we can have a non-linearity or intermodulation product. Cell site cost is very much of higher in this kind of technique. Bandwidth is very lower as we have discussed earlier in FDM also. Okay, carrier is having only one circuit at a time. So these all are the advantages and disadvantages of a FDMA system. Now the next topic is TDMA. Now FDMA is compared to TDMA is having a whole available bandwidth for the utilization of single user, but with specific amount of time. For specific time interval, one user will be able to use that channel. Okay, and all the channel can be used by that user. So this is the technique. We can see that in diagram also. Okay, so ultimately, if we talk about the time division duplex, okay, if we talk about the uplink and downlink concept in TDMA, so ultimately the uplink and downlink concept in TDMA will be given as separate time slot for uplink and separate time slot for downlink. So ultimately, there must have this kind of system must have synchronization. Okay, this kind of system must have synchronization, and even if due to the guard space we are wasting our bandwidth also. Secondly, we cannot use simultaneously for uplink and downlink in a TDMA kind of system. Okay, because there is a separate time slot for uplink and separate time slot for downlink, and available whole bandwidth will be dedicated for the one user. So if we say, okay, like in figure we can see that we are having time slot 1 to 12, okay, and time slot 1 to 12. So total we are having 24 time slot. From this 24 time slot, we can occupy only 12 number of users. Why? Because we are having 12 time slot for uplink and 12 time slot for downlink for a single user. Likewise, we can see that in indication number 1. Okay, in indication of number 1 in left side and number 1 in right side. Okay, so in left side number 1, suppose it will be used for downlink, and in right side number 1, suppose it will use for uplink for a single user only, suppose user 1. Okay, same as number 2 for downlink and number 2 for uplink for single user, user number 2. So like this, we can use 12 user, we can have 12 number of users for this particular division. This is the concept of time division duplex. So ultimately in TDMA what we are having, we must need synchronization and we cannot use simultaneously the uplink and downlink concept. So this is the concept of TDD, time division duplex. So next is TDMA frame structure. So here we can see that this is the one TDMA frame structure in which we can have 24 time slot, from which 12 time slot will be for uplink and 12 time slot will be for downlink. So we are discussing about one single TDMA frame in which number of time slot and from which one time slot will be used for one user, another time slot will be used for another user. So in this one TDMA frame, first there will be preamble, okay, and last there will be trail bits. Now trail bits will be used for error correction and detection techniques, and preamble is nothing but a header which basically store the information of sender and receiver and synchronization, etc. So now the information of slot 1, 2, 3 up to 24. Okay, suppose we are taking only one single slot. In this single slot, we are dividing our whole data into the number of bits according to it. First one, there will be the guard space bit, then after synchronous bit, then after control bits, then information, and last one is CRC check. So ultimately CRC check is nothing but what your error control technique, error detection technique, which is used for the error control purpose. Okay, second one is guard bits. Guard bits is basically used for taking guard space between the two information frame. Suppose some microsecond amount of time period, and for that time period how many bits we can transmit. So this is the guard bits. Then after the synchronous bit, we can use this bit for the synchronization purpose between the transmitter and receiver. Then after the control bits, which is used for the what amount of data or what kind of data we are sending from the transmitter to receiver. So basically we have learned today regarding to the multiple access, then after SDMA, FDMA and TDMA. In next lecture we will discuss about the CDMA. Thank you. We will meet in our next lecture. Tell me.